Welcome to Clixed Off, brought to you by Lucky Dice Cafe out of Huntsville, Alabama. Check them out at LuckyDiceCafe.com. And now for your hosts, Daniel Powell, Jason Alvey, Alex Coos, and Tyler Spees.
Hey everybody, welcome to Clixed Off today. This is your host Daniel Powell speaking. Just want to let everybody know that Clixed Off is brought to you by TrollandToad.com, the world's largest HeroClix retailer. Find HeroClix new and old on TrollandToad.com and use coupon code CLIXEDOFF for 5% off your HeroClix order. Merchant and pre-order items do not apply. If you like what you're listening to today on Clixed Off, check us out, patreon.com/ClickStop. $1 and above gets entered into our monthly giveaways. $5 and above gets into our Discord server for HeroClix strategy and tactics. We also see an uptick in our Patreon subscriptions during this time of the year to get some coaching for Worlds. So if that would be of interest to you, hit up patreon.com/ClickStop and reach out, and we'll get you set up with some coaching if that's of interest to you. Joining.
Can I get some coaching?
Yeah, I mean, I think you get that all the time. Yeah, hey, so
I disagree, but
joining me today, I've got a good one for you, Jason. Joining me today is Jason. Just play the fucking good team that you built, Alvey.
I mean, that's a thing I could do.
Yeah. And then
he doesn't want it banned for Worlds. That's why he didn't want to play it.
Right. Yeah. See, if I played it, then Kong would have immediately got errated after Gencon, much like Apocalypse.
That's true. And also joining me today is Alex, ready to get back into the fight. Round 3. Coos.
Hello. I'm here.
Yeah.
Ready for Worlds.
So for those not aware, we got a lot to talk about. So today was just going to be a pretty relaxed episode, right? Probably some bitching, like usual.
Well, that went out the window, didn't it?
Right, because we were just going to talk about Gencon. We were going to talk about all the shit we did at Gencon, and we're probably going to still talk about all the shit we did at Gencon. But
now there'll be some bitching.
But we've got Masters of Time legality for Worlds. We've got the watch list.
Yay.
So today I'm going to use the Masters of Time powers and abilities to give you the results of the watch list that was announced earlier today. Are you guys ready for this?
Oh, I'm ready.
Oh boy, let's see it.
Dear HeroClix Masterminds, after much consideration and mind reading, we have added to the ban list for 300 Modern for Worlds whatever Jason Alvey is thinking of playing.
Yep.
Should you not want the ban list to grow, tell Jason Alvey to stop thinking.
I mean, I don't.
We are excited to see all of y'all in Memphis next month.
Except Jason. We're excited to see what Jason plays at Worlds this year.
I do have the golden touch, after all, with getting things changed or added or banned.
Between the two of you guys, you got a pretty good track record.
Oh, we do. I mean, not everybody can say they broke a figure and got it changed on multiple occasions.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
Fun times.
Yeah, but just need that Legacy Unimind figure. That'd be great.
Well, if you win the Legacy card making thing, you could have done. You had your chance.
No, I did. I just went with the cooler sculpt.
Well, I'm not going to deny that you did have a cooler sculpt there.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, all right. Well, let's talk about Gencon a little bit. So,
it was hot. Indy was hot.
Indy was hot, but the convention center had plenty of air conditioning. So,
well, I don't know about that. The football stadium had plenty of air conditioning because it felt good in there.
Oh my gosh! You guys 75 degrees for y'all is hot.
Dude, if it ain't like a meat locker, I'm not satisfied.
Oh my gosh.
How crazy was it? Because I think I saw it was once again, just like last year, the biggest Gen Con ever. So, like, how was the crowds this year compared to last year?
They said I read they had 71,000 plus people. It was completely sold out. I mean, I didn't think it was didn't feel any worse than last year. Which I think they said they had 70,000 people last year. It's busy.
So for me, like, the hallways seemed fuller than normal than maybe years ago.
Definitely more than years ago.
Yeah, but for me, like, I spent most of my time in the HeroClix area. I didn't really do a lot outside of HeroClix during Gen Con. I've had some stress in my personal life around job stuff, so I just took it as a break, a mind break, and like it wasn't that busy in the HeroClix area because I just stayed there most of the time. So to answer your question, Alex, it felt busier than normal, but not too bad.
Now, Jason, did you have to resist the urge to hop into any Lorcana lines?
I didn't even think about it this time, to be quiet. I never even saw the Ravensburger booth. Like, I wasn't about all that this year.
That's probably smart. So
yeah. No, I pretty much just I didn't play any games that were not HeroClix. But I had a blast playing a ton of sealed shit. That was super fun.
You played a ton of BRs.
I played 7 BRs on Friday.
Oh my gosh. And
that was the very first one to the very last one, nonstop. Didn't take a break.
Oh, so that's a question for you real quick, Jason. So how was it signing up for the BRs? Because remember with Adepticon, it was a big to-do, right? There were limited spaces. They couldn't sign people up. How was it
There's limited spaces at Gen Con too, but I bought all my tickets, pre-bought all my tickets the first day they went available.
Nice.
So I didn't make that mistake again.
Okay.
And then Saturday after the qualifier where I got hosed thanks to the shitty format, I went and jumped into the Royal Flush OP and won that whole thing.
Now, did you buy the tickets for that, or was there just space?
There was space in it that day, so I got on my phone, I bought the ticket, I walked to the booth, I picked it up, and I came back and played.
Nice.
Yeah, and came out with a lot of cool shit.
So how would you guys rank, like, just not tournament wise, but general HeroClix at Gen Con compared to previous years? How do you rank this year?
It felt a little off for me, a little bit down, because I think from last year to this year, I don't know, maybe there was more BRs, but BRs are a hellish landscape of not fun for me.
I love them, though. I love them.
Yeah, so I get that, right? We're polar opposite when it comes to that.
Yeah.
I missed the side events. They ran the silver theme event last year. They ran some more pulp events last year.
Right.
I missed the birth of side events.
Did they not have a pulp event?
They did have one. They have one.
Okay.
So, which I did awful in. So to totally have to retool my...
What won that anyway?
Lucas's team.
Which was what?
It was Blue Marvel, Red Widow, Timebreaker, Doctor Strange, Madison, Orb.
Okay.
And Spiderling as well.
Okay.
So, lots of dice manipulation. Timebreaker is quite awesome in Pulp. And then, just being able to teleport through the map's a big deal.
We need to make sure message Lucas and see if he could get it over to a Clay, so that way it's up on HC units. Because I know for Pulp purposes, I'm sure not a ton of people are preparing. I think now people are like, oh yeah, there's Pulp tournaments at Worlds. We should start thinking about Pulp a little bit more.
For a Pulp tournament at Worlds, probably.
Yeah, Worlds Pulp
multiple.
tournament, right?
Well, it'd be the Worlds tournament for Pulp. So yeah, I mean, my plan for that is to just play what Lucas played and bring my bucket of time breakers with me.
Unless they get watch listed.
I don't know. It is what it is. Like, I will say this, right? Like, I came back from Gencon and we went straight into Worlds prep. Like, my brain has not shut off. Like, Theo had his first day of kindergarten this week, and like, life's just been super busy since I've come back. And like, I'm like, perfect. Thank you for the watch list, Wizkids, because now I get a week off. Like, my brain can reset. So, like, next weekend, we can workshop everything that we need to workshop. But I needed a week off, and this is the perfect opportunity to get it.
I mean, I thought I enjoyed all the stuff. I mean, I thought all the qualifiers were just kind of off kilter because they were all running late. It seemed like the format blows. The format for the qualifiers is awful. 3 rounds, you have to go 2-1 with good points, or you just don't. You're just out, right? Yeah, some guy dropped in my qualifier, and I got a bye. I totally got hosed because of that. I didn't even get a chance to play to have a chance. Like,
yeah, because you just weren't going to get enough points.
Yeah, because you don't get but 150 for a bye. I would have just rather had a chance to play, and, at least have a chance to get enough points. Right. But that was taken away from me.
I feel like every game has something like that where it's just a silly way the rules work with scoring and whatnot that causes someone to get hosed.
So it's not so much. Well, it's not that the rules of the game cause Jason to get hosed. X1s should never miss. It is I think a pretty standard policy throughout all competitive games, and
lots of X1s miss in this. Lots of them.
Exactly. So, that's really the problem, is that X1s constantly miss when it comes to the national qualifier. Which
the pod play is not cool. It just needs to be a Swiss.
Yeah.
Make it happen. Or get out of Gen Con and take it somewhere else, like Origins. Just do it. Get it out of there.
Yeah. Now, I mean, we can play
other shit at Gen Con. It doesn't matter like that.
Yeah, I think my main thoughts on Gen Con in general, I love that there's Clix at Gen Con. Official Clix.
Clix Bowl was fantastic.
Oh my gosh, yes, was it ever. Let's get there, though. But I think having the U.S. Nationals at Gen Con makes for a very expensive Gen Con. Now, if there was one like 300 Modern tournament on Saturday, for some Adepticon level prizing.
Yeah, let's just say it's the Gen Con Championship.
Con Championship. I'm okay with that. You get some Adepticon level prizing. Totally okay with that. Even if it's Saturday and Sunday. But that means that I get Thursday and Friday to do other stuff, or just not show up on Thursday and Friday, thus lowering the overall cost of the trip.
Or just play a bunch of BRs.
Yeah.
If that's your thing.
Yeah, because last year you went and did a bunch of other stuff at Gen Con. Right, Daniel? I think we all did. Because you dipped into the DC deck builder.
Yeah, so Sam and I just did the DC deck builder. That was it. That was the only other extra thing that we did. But I didn't even get a time to really walk the floor this time. Now, let's be clear. I didn't walk the floor, the vendor hall, as much because the side event that our house took up what our Airbnb took up every night was drinking, and sleeping. So we took up drinking and sleeping. Now it's not like we got hammered, but we got enough in us to go to sleep really good every night. So that's what we did.
I've added something new. Watching all this, because I follow all the Gencon pages on Facebook and whatnot. Clearly, what we need to add to our list of when we win the lottery and buy Wizkids and whatnot. When we win the lottery, clearly we just need to get a room at the hotel that's attached.
Oh my gosh! You and 50,000 other people, right?
I've had that before, and let me tell you, it is nice. It is real nice. Now, I will say, the next best thing I had too that I did, like this year, I parked right next to the block party, right next to the convention center, right, across the street from Lucas Oil Stadium. And that was the best fucking parking I've ever had there when I parked a car there. And I could just walk out the back of the building and go right to my car.
Yep.
It was like 30 yards.
No Gate 10 shenanigans or whatever it's called.
Gate 10 doesn't even exist now, really. They just totally blew that all up at the last minute. It's a whole thing. But where the walk, the street between Lucas and the convention center is, right?
Mm-hmm.
I literally parked on the convention center side of that street. It was fantastic. Yeah, fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, if we win the lottery, it's buy an office space or something, right, where you can just stay connected, or a condo or something, right? I mean,
we just rent the penthouse for that week.
I mean the thing is and on top of that, right, you have to drive in, drive out, 20, 30 minutes or more, and then walk in. Of course, Jason found the secret hack for the one parking lot that's close. But
all by accident. But I did.
Exactly. So it's just all a pain. But it's not like it's unfun. I'm not saying, to be clear, we're not saying Wizkids leave Gencon. Maybe let's get...
These are general Gencon problems.
Yeah, these are just general Gencon things, right? This is not discouraging anybody from going to Gencon. This is what you're signing up for when you go to Gencon. I think it's probably succinctly saying move Nationals back to Origins.
Yeah, exactly.
Pretty please. Origins...
Where you have more control over it.
Yeah, Origins was way less stressful.
How was the crowd at Origins?
Way less than it used to be. Origins is not as big as it used to be. Therefore, it's easier to attend. It's easier to move around. And the food is easier to get to.
Sure.
North Market, the food in the convention center, way better. Even the food in the convention center at Origins, Columbus Convention Center, to me, is better than the food trucks at Gencon.
I mean, that makes sense. They are food trucks.
Yeah.
But when the Origins has it in the hall, the gaming hall.
Yeah.
There's a Chick-fil-A.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I guess maybe more the comparison is the North Market. Comparing North Market to the food trucks, North Market blows the food trucks out of the water.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, so food and drink wise, I think Origins beats Gencon. And I think we mentioned that, I don't know, several times this year already. But
the food trucks have gotten overpriced and had too long of a line.
Oh my gosh, yeah. So how about this? How about we talk a little bit about our games? Jason and I'll talk a little bit about our games that we had at Gencon. I'll talk a little bit about it. But I mean, Jason, you had a little bit shorter run than I did.
I only played the one qualifier
you go ahead and tell us about your one qualifier if you could, please.
Okay, so I sat down to play against a double Kong team. Lost initiative roll and went second, And he comes to alpha me, and after about 5 or 6 re-rolls, I forget exactly how many now, I wound up, the last one that I had made him crit hit me on Quake. So that was bad. And then the other con was needed to hit me after that as well. So my team was pretty much destroyed after that, and then any chance I had of coming back left as soon as I made my first attack because I crit missed that, and that was pretty much it. I think I made 2 attacks the entire game.
Ouch.
Yeah, didn't go well.
And then you got the bye,
instead
right?
of getting to instead of getting to regroup and maybe hopefully wipe my second round. Nope, I don't even get to play my second round. And get half points. So I was just hosed immediately. Didn't, one roll of the dice basically determined the whole qualifier for me. Or 2, I mean.
Did you then go on to wipe round 3?
I came close, but I didn't quite do it. But I did win.
Yeah.
Yeah, that match was streamed. It was fun to watch.
Yeah, that was a neat team I was playing against. A neat Avengers Assassin team. It was pretty cool. Mr. Eli Becker, I think was his name. He had a cool idea.
Could you tell us what you played in your qualifier?
Oh, what I played?
Yeah.
I played Camo with a motorcycle, Butterfly, King Killmonger, the Porter twins, the Daredevil with a Sinestro ring, and then the Daredevil. 10 points and a empty traffic barrel, and on the sideline I had Mern, Doom Supreme, Iron Inquisitor, Major Logan, Chthon, and Carnage Silver Surfer.
Right. So pretty stout team, right? Just can't be crit hit, right?
Yeah, well, Mern. I mean, when the initial alpha came in on that first one, I had Mern out 7 squares, so he didn't even have any buffs to Kong's attack. He was just rolling the shit out of those dice. I made him miss one time, but he just immediately rolled it again. So it was nuts. Then he brought his Mern over, and my high defense that I had going was just gone. I mean, he still needed decent hit, but it wasn't a problem at that point. I was already whiffed after the crit.
Right.
So yeah.
So I played in the Thursday qualifier, first qualifier, same qualifier I played in 22-23. And I played against Mike Eskew round 1, who's playing a Colossus-based team. We had a really close game, but Mern came down to being the decider of me not being able to roll high enough. Ended up losing that game. Pretty close game though. But I knew I needed to win the next 2 games with high points. Which in round 2, and I think listeners out there might see this as some of the absurdity in the dice rolls that helped me get as far as I did in nationals. But as a reminder, we play a dice game. Round 2, I played against Caleb Reddick, who, as a side note, we are proud to announce Caleb is an official member of Team Clixed Off now. Haven't made the Facebook post yet, so depending on what comes first or second here, you may hear it here first, or you might hear it on the Facebook group first. But we, after a long discussion over the weekend at Gencon, we decided Caleb and the team came to a conclusion to get him signed up on the team. So, all right, yeah, good job on the soundboard there.
I was ready.
So Caleb was playing Ghost Rider, Arachnite, the Porter Twins, Kong, and Blackheart. I won initiative. Went over with my first Kong. He missed his shape change on Ghost Rider, his shape change on Arachnite, because remember he's adjacent to Ghost Rider 048. I hit, I had a 15 attack. There was no Mern involved. 14 or 15 attack. And then he misses the wild-carded Spider Senses on Black Shirt Porter, misses the wild-carded Super Senses on Arachnite, misses the Spider Senses on a 6 on Ghost Rider, misses the Imperv on Kong. The second Kong comes in. So after that first Kong Quake, Black Shirt Porter is KO'd, Blackheart is KO'd, White Shirt Porter's out of the way. I'm just ignoring him. Second Kong comes in for a Quake. Super Shape Change missed. Shape Change missed. Arachnite misses his Spider Senses. Ghost Rider misses his senses on a 6. And he didn't even roll the Imperv on Kong. Caleb just gave up from there. So I went into my round 3 and played against Cameron Bushcutter, who was playing Kong, MOE, Venom, Thanos, and the Porters. So I win initiative, go first. And long story short, after a bunch of rolls and everything, I beat Cameron. He has Kong left. I have Kong, Black Shirt, Porter. So really narrow game, really high points. I ended up qualifying 2-1. I think I was ahead like 60 to 90 points ahead of Mike Eskew. And made it on through. Now, Jason, I wanted to wait until the show to tell you this.
Mm-hmm.
Are you ready?
What?
Cameron asked me what he could do to make his team better, and we talked about a few different things. And I
took Venom Thanos off of it.
Yeah, and I told him, I was like, look, based on what you have available for you, you should just take Venom Thanos off and play Mern.
Yep, that's what hosed me.
So,
well, that didn't hose me. He still hit the crit anyway. That through the Mern I had, so that was done. But yeah, that finished it off.
Right. Yeah. So, I just wanted to remind you, whenever I told you that piece of information, that Clixed Off's main goal is to always help make the community better. It's always great when we win, but if we don't make the community better along the way, it's maybe not so worth it. So we helped Cameron out.
I'm not complaining.
I didn't know if you'd have a more salacious reaction to it than that.
If you'd have told me that right after, I probably would have.
Right. That's why I waited. I didn't.
He hit it and he played good. So I mean, I can't fault him.
Yeah, I didn't want to just tell you straight up in the chat. Immediately that day, I told him to play. My first thought was, LOL. I told him to play Mern. I avoided doing that.
The whole thing that made me salty was the bot thing.
Yeah, that was obviously the hardest part, right? You had no chance at that point. Very, very little chance.
That's what really pissed me off.
Right. Yeah, I get that. So then I make it into top 16. We play 3 rounds of Swiss with a cut to top 8. First round of Swiss, I play against Howard Brock. And Howard makes one crucial error. I think this one's streamed on the Alpha Strike channel. He perplexes up Cosmo's defense instead of his range. And then I flipped the Hanged Man on Howard, and Howard could have fixed his mistake with the range by hangmanning Cosmo and giving him 1 extra range. But he elects not to Hanged Man. I have 1 initiative. I go in and I quake Howard's team because I'm able to perplex up speed outside of Mern's or outside of Cosmo's range. He turns off, he turns off charge. Yeah,
he turned off charge, but He forgot to perplex up. He only mentioned it. He mentioned it half a dozen times, but
yeah. If you watch the stream, half a dozen times. He turned off charge. Sorry, not Quake. So then Kong goes in there, quakes his team twice, and I didn't wipe the team because he has Colossus, and Colossus is hard to KO. Then round 2, I face up against Cameron Bushcutter again. And, with his modified team, it comes down to I win initiative again. He has Mern. It comes down to a bunch of rolls. And I beat Cameron by 5 points because I KO'd his Sinestro Core Ring. I guess at this point I should also mention what I'm playing. I'm playing Kong with Conchu, Kong with Conchu, Kong with a Mitt and Cathan. Cathan always went on to that Kong. The Porter Twins, MOE, Blackheart, and Elsa Prime. There wasn't a whole lot of Elsa making a big difference. Howard's game, it helped. And then most of the other games were just Kong quaking. But then round 3, I have 2-1, so it doesn't really matter what happens round 3 because they, all 2-1s make it. Lucas, Tom Van Hollen, and I are paired up. I told Lucas, I'm like, it doesn't matter what happens. We're both in the top 8. Let's put on a show for the stream. In which case we did. Lucas is playing a Colossus-based team, and I luckily remember on one turn that Kong can just make 2 attacks because I am down 155 points to nothing, and on that play I roll 3 10s and quake his whole team and even the score. Which was pretty lucky on my part. And then we go straight into top 8 on Saturday. And I play Lucas, Tom Van Holland again. Lucas won initiative both times. The second time, Lucas elects to go second and choose map because I pull out the Brock's Bunker again, and I tell Lucas, I'm like, do you want to just do this over again, what we just did? And he's like, better not. And then he takes me to Bloodstone Maze. I miss my alpha. I'm down a Kong pretty quickly. I have White Shirt Porter, Elsa, and another Kong. My Cathan, I think it was my Cathan Kong, takes a damage. Colossus comes in to hit, needs a 5. Lucas, after all rerolls on the Colossus, critically misses. He goes to Mind Control with his Mern, critically misses. He goes to Pulse Wave with his Scott Porter, that was off of Prob, critically misses.
Jeez, I thought my luck was bad. Jeez.
Yeah, and the unfortunate thing, I guess, right? I really want to know that this was said with humility and just like a need to happen. When that all happened, I unfortunately had to say, Lucas, can I go ahead and please take my turn? Because I was still down at that particular juncture. Right? I was not winning. And, I rallied back. I still had, his burn was still alive. Right? I still had to hit some pretty crazy rolls. But like a Porter, Elsa, and the last Kong pulled through and helped me to win the top 8 matchup. Now I go to top 4 on Sunday against Alec Musser. And Alec has a really great setup. Alec's one of our patrons. We talked quite a bit, had a coaching session before Nationals. Alec actually helped me, suggested playing Elsa. He was the reason we got Elsa onto the team. but he was playing a variation of the team with Arachnite. And I had some rolls not go my way. Neither one of my Kongs hit their impervs. One of my Kongs critically missed. And it all just fell apart from there. Alec was able to wipe my Kong, my Blackheart. And I only got his Blackheart, I think. So, the dice giveth and the dice taketh away. So that was the end of my Nationals run. Ended up 3rd place. And, had a really good time. And congratulations to Isaac AB for winning his 3rd U.S. National Championship. So, Isaac has said he will be on the show. I am looking forward to getting him on the show soon. Hopefully this weekend. We're still working out all the details. So which is huge because Isaac doesn't attend many shows. So we're excited to potentially have him on. So I think that covers the majority of Gencon. Was there anything that y'all wanted to talk about? Anything else you wanted to mention Gencon related?
What about the Dial H stats?
Yeah, so it is. So what I wanted to talk about, that's a good segue, Alex, that I would like to go into next, mainly around the watch list and what we project to be going good, going into Worlds with this nebulous watch list hanging over us.
Okay.
So, I don't know. Jason, did you have anything else you wanted to talk about with Gen Con?
Masters of Time being the BR set and the team sealed set was a very nice surprise. That set is just straight fire, I think. That was a super fun time getting to play all that in sealed and BR. I've had a great time with that. Other than that, I mean, that stuff was all ran just fine. I didn't have any problem with that. They did a good job with all those sealed events. Clix Bowl was super fun.
Yep. You get to do it all again in Worlds, because that'll be the boosters for Team Worlds.
Yeah, I mean, that is an extremely fun sealed set, I feel like. Extremely fun in BRs. I don't remember the last one I had as much fun with as I did this one. So, and there's just a lot of cool shit in this set.
So what do you mean? What do you mean, Jason? You didn't have a ton of fun with next phase BRs?
Not as well. I'll tell you, I like next phase BRs better than like Wheels of Vengeance and Notorious. Like I kind of hated those, but this set is just fantastic. It's fucking fantastic. I love it.
So
I can't express how much I love it.
So before we talk about what we think is going to be great for Worlds, let's talk about the Colossal from MOT. Where do you think you put that in Team Sealed?
We didn't use ours in Clix Bowl. We had the red Dino. We had the red dinosaur.
Oh my gosh, it's so good at 30 points.
Well, Zach didn't want to play it.
Your teams were fire, though, so let's be real.
Jeremy had Darkside. My team was fucking baller, that I had. I mean, Jeremy wanted one figure to play. We pulled Darkside, so that's what he had.
Oh my gosh.
Zach wanted to... there's no talking, getting Zach to do what you want him to do. He's just going to do whatever he wants to do. So...
Yeah. So...
he had a good team otherwise, but yeah. No, the Dino was good, but just he didn't want to use it, so...
Yeah, I get that.
I didn't need it. I had a fire team.
What was your fire team for Clix Bowl? Tell us.
Let's see. I had Prime Blue Beetle, Chase Harley Quinn. Let's see. What else did I have? I had Perdegaton, Green Arrow, Green Lantern, and a Trick Arrows, and Mr. Mind. The 30-point Mr. Mind. Yeah,
that's just a little good.
It was fucking fire. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
I also ended up loving my team. I had the Chase King Jefferson, Morgan Le Fay Rare, Madame Xanadu Super Rare, Dr. Fate, and Etrigan at low. So I had plenty of prob and a 19 defend.
yeah, me too. Yeah, like I'd fuck 5 prob or some shit.
There's plenty of probs in this set for sure.
Oh yeah, there's all kind of prob. Yeah.
Well, I can't wait to play it at Worlds.
Oh,
and I
yeah,
can't wait to play it in 2 weeks. Because pre-releases are the 21st of August, and the set releases on the 28th.
Yeah.
But will not be legal for Worlds.
Unfortunately, I'm super sad about it. I get it, but I'm still sad about it.
Yeah, I mean, folks, if y'all are prepping for Worlds and going to play in the team set, y'all need to watch some of these unboxings. Lots of crazy bricks out there to be pulled. So.
Yeah, it definitely feels like they made up for the fact that you're only getting 8 boosters and then the Colossal booster. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Like,
yeah.
It felt like, okay, you didn't leave the brick thinking, man, I mean, to be fair, we've only seen unboxing videos. We've seen, from BRs, but I don't think anybody really recorded a lot of that.
The VR pulls were just insane.
Yeah.
Like, I sat next to a table twice that pulled the Ultra Chase. When we were playing the Clix Bowl, they were just handing out random free boosters, and Zach got an Ultra Chase. Like, I mean, our brick had a Prima Chase and the Super Rares in it. It was just, I don't know. They're pretty stuffed.
Yeah.
That is one thing we didn't talk about from Gencon is the fan appreciation and what news was released. Because they did talk about Ultra Chases in that.
They did explain the Kevin stuff and what they were aiming to do about it. That makes some more sense. I'm glad they addressed it and did what they did.
Yeah,
so kudos for that.
Let me just go through our slides real quick. That's a good thing to cover. Let me do that. Let me get there real quick.
So for everyone who didn't know, at least for the Ultra Chase part, they allowed people at Gen Con to turn in an X-Phase chase, and they just gave you a Kevin, right?
Yeah.
Yep, best trade I ever made.
And they plan to do it at some event. I assume they're going to do it at Worlds. Also.
Yes, that is the point.
So if you weren't at Gen Con, because it was announced oddly like the day before. It was very, very close to Gen Con. So not a lot of people, if people were traveling, they missed it. But don't worry.
Look, yep. Luckily, I was still here at home.
So luckily, at Worlds, they're supposed to be doing the same thing.
So bring your next phase chases to Worlds.
Bring all your Baron Zemos.
Yeah. So Jake Theiss really took a good job of explaining the Kevin situation. But just know that they're working on getting more Kevins out there. And if you're going to Worlds, bring your next phase chases. And Dial H has a whole video up of the fan appreciation event, including all of our questions and all that stuff. So go take a look at that. So for the nerdier folks out there, Jake did a really good discussion of their new CRM and accounting software. If you don't like that kind of stuff, I won't talk about it too much, but I was really excited to hear that they updated their CRM and accounting software. That should really help us out a lot as a consumer.
We've only mentioned quality control and keeping tabs of their inventory and stuff. Only, I feel like, every other episode. So,
right,
maybe I like to think we played a role in them saying, "Hey, maybe we should take another step with it."
Right.
It's sad. It took an Ultra Chase fiasco to be the thing that probably pushed them into doing this.
Right. Agreed. So more OP. There's a big retail storyline event next year. More supercharged sealeds. Ryan is doing fantastic. So we did get to see some stuff from the next few sets: Masters of Time, Black Panthers, Collector's Trove, Spider-Verse, Smash and Destroy, and Lantern Legacy. We've gotten the solicit now for Smash and Destroy. Lots of good looking sculpts there. Lantern Legacy will have a Mogo in it. Yay.
Jason, what's the significance of Mogo? Is there a significance? I saw that.
Well, Mogo is a living planet Green Lantern. So you can imagine the scale and size of such a being. He's never been Clixed before, and he's going to be in this set.
Okay. There was probably missing the enthusiasm when you looked at the slide from afar, because I was like, "Oh, cool! I guess Mogo."
There's no picture. But I mean, you're talking about a planet-sized Green Lantern. I mean, I don't know how big he's going to be. I don't know. I'm sure he's not going to be a gigantic, thing like a Galactus or something. Unfortunately, but hey, he's going to be there. So. They said that set was a spiritual successor to War of Light. So, get ready.
Yeah, it's going to be great. Then we got to see some new Black Panther stuff. We got to see the sculpt from
deity bases are cool.
Yeah, deity bases are cool. They're in the new set, the Masters of Time set with Poseidon. Really gives
they are detachable,
and it gives a really impressive feel to your other HeroClix.
And they do, for people that don't know, there is no significance to the game. It's like a cosmetic upgrade.
They just look cool. I got a Poseidon. They are cool. They come off. You can put them on anything you want.
Yep.
Yep. It's a nice touch.
We got to see the Beholder sculpt from D&D Clix. That's going to be sweet.
It is awesome.
And the Collector's Trove is going to have one-shots, which to me feels like the spiritual successor to Battlefield Conditions. So they got some stuff in there about the hammer. If you zoom in on the slide, you can read it. It's, to me, my hammer. If something would be unequipped, you can one-shot it and get it to be used for something else. Unfortunately, they cost 10 points. So we'll see if they're broken or not, or if they're just this cool sort of side thing. I don't know. I mean, we don't know yet. To be seen, right?
Nope. Yep.
And we've got 2 sets before that. Black Panther comes out before Collector's Trove.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So that's out in the future. We'll worry about that later. Spider-Verse slide, Smash and Destroy slide, Lantern Legacy slide. We do get starter sets in 2025. The big question that I asked John, the designer, is will the starter sets in 2025 come with modern legal maps? And his answer was yes.
They are currently, the DC one is technically set for August on the solicits page.
Oh, the 2025 one?
Or the 20, yeah, it says starter set 2025 on it. That's probably going to be pushed.
Right.
It doesn't make sense. But Marvel and DC are currently listed on solicits for this month. I assume they won't be because they are 2025 and it is 2024.
Correct.
But
yeah, the biggest downfall of the previous ones is that they had no map that was a map that you could play an actual game with HeroClix on.
Right. Well, at an organized play level, right? You could play it at home all you wanted.
Yeah, but it wasn't an official size map, so I mean, it's like a snack-sized HeroClix game, right? I don't know.
Yeah,
that was just the biggest downfall to me. They had cool sculpts, they had some good figures for new players, but they didn't have that. I just don't understand why that wasn't, but I'm glad they rectified it.
Yep, agreed. HeroClix Iconics, they showed us the Deadpool and Cable with apparently an arrow of some sort on the way.
Cupid's arrow,
yeah.
Mm-hmm. Who knows that?
Some future Iconics, Silver Surfer doing something. Angel with a battering ram, a giant penny, and
Batman. Yeah,
some Batman-looking fella. We, on Facebook.com/Clixed Off, got to share the cards for the coming soon Bifrost Bridge. So check those out. Really neat set coming out. And that's it.
And the Deadpool cable one is an Iconics it will come with a Trick Arrow that has 3 Trick Arrow cards with it.
So,
and some bystanders.
So it's probably a must buy.
The official solicit for that one has come out, so you can see kind of it comes with 3 figures. Well, Deadpool, Cable, and the Trick Arrows. 3 foil HeroClix cards, and then 3 bystanders: Copycat, Valentine, Wong, and Rogue, with a window display box.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
awesome.
And guess what? Comes out February. Who would have thought?
Yeah, don't sleep on that February set this time.
Hey, I mean, don't sleep on most of these Iconics, right? Most of these.
Yeah, Iconics is the best new thing they've introduced to HeroClix, product-wise, I feel like. And, forever.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's a couple you could skip on. You know, the Wakanda Hulkbuster is one that everyone's kind of meh about, but for the most part, I mean, I'm trying to pick up at least a copy of each one.
Yeah, I got the Wakanda Hulkbuster anyway. He's cool looking.
Yeah.
Who knows when he might just turn out to be really good for some reason.
I agree. So let's talk about the Dial H results for Gencon. I keep wanting to say Origins, but let's talk about that for Gencon.
Nationals.
Yeah, Nationals. So let me pull up their page real quick so we can all have the Google sheet in front of us. And big shout out to Bill for putting them together. Bill, you know who you are. Congratulations. Thank you, I should say. Not congratulations. Thank you. U.S. Nationals data. Okay, so the sky is not falling, folks.
What would make the sky fall? What would be the qualifications for the sky to fall?
Something larger than a 5% advantage.
For what?
So the sky falling initially was like, oh my gosh, you go first on a small map, you're going to win 70, 80, 90% of the time. Well, guess what? It's only 55% of the time.
Sort of.
So
this may not be a large enough sample size either, but
so there were 65 games, 1 initiative, and 1 game. Now, keep in mind, when they say 1 initiative, that doesn't mean the person goes first.
Right.
So 1 initiative, 1 game, 1 initiative and lost game was 53. So if you win initiative, you have a 55% chance of winning the game. Jason, that was a 50, 65, and 53. I mean, that's 118 games. I don't know. I don't
know. I'm just saying. I don't know if that's what you would call big enough scientifically to say that, but it's whatever. It's a good sample size. I don't know if it's big enough, but whatever.
Right. I mean, I tend
to. It's the best we got.
It's the best we got. I mean, to me, it doesn't feel like the sky is falling. So
maybe sky already fell on us. We just didn't know.
Right. I agree. So, Alex, oddly enough, I agree with you talking about Brock's bunker, which seems to be the focus of the ire coming out of the event is, oh no, Major Brock bunker is really bad. I'd like to remind everyone that we play a collectible game. Winna maps are very easy to get. rock.ionsuite.com. Get with your local event coordinator and just run Winna maps. They're $70 shipped. Just run how many ever you want to get how many ever maps you want for your group.
Yeah, so let me clarify what my statement with Brock's Bunker is. I don't love the limited availability. I know, yes, you can run out and get a Winna map. You got to have a store to do that. So there's some limitations with that. The unfortunate part is that, it just hasn't had a ton of time to be able to run a bunch of Winna maps to get out there. Because even if you're consistently running, 5 a weekend, that's still a pretty limited amount for the whole Clix community, right? To get a bunch of the maps out. I don't love the limitedness of Brock's Bunker, but I do believe Brock's Bunker is absolutely necessary because it is what's mitigating, I feel like, the advantage that winning initiative has. Because going into this, like before people really caught on the Brock's Bunker, it's like with Ivy's prevalent and Kong's on the Resurgent, it's like, oh, who's going to win? Probably who goes first. Like that, if you go first, you have a much higher advantage. Sure, rolls can go crappy, but your advantage is higher. But then Brock's Bunker is the first one, and there's other maps that are, hindering, as bad as Brock's Bunker, but Brock's Bunker is kind of the one people are focusing on more. I wish, kind of with the data they have gotten, they showed what other maps were played. Because there are, like I said, there are others. You mentioned a few in your recap of Gencon, right? Was it Bloodstone? Was it Bloodstone?
Bloodstone's Maze.
Bloodstone Maze. I mean, there's a lot of still intrusive, small, big or small indoor maps.
We can see some of the maps, and like on HC units, they have the map list for the top.
They do.
16.
That's true. Yeah, you could go out there and see it. I just meant for like some of the data of like one initiative, one game. They do spell out Brock's Bunker, but it would kind of have been kind of nice to see like, oh, the stats for each game where they have at the bottom one initiative. This person won the initiative and won the game. Okay, well, what map did they choose? And that's just minor stuff. That the data they have here is great. For me, it's like besides Brock's Bunker, was there a decent amount on that Bloodstone map, or Justice League, headquarters, or whatever it is? There was another indoor map someone was talking.
Daily Bugle.
Planet.
Daily Bugle. Daily Bugle's on a lot of these. Looks like.
Yeah. So it's like, what if that was a more played map than Brock's Bunker and made a bigger impact? I don't know. Either way, that's Brock's Bunker is the focus because it has a limited availability. It came out, debuted at the HeroClix for Huntington's event, and so which was back in May. So there was at least 2 months worth of BRs that could have, or not BRs, Winna maps that could have taken place to get these out there.
Yep.
But it is what it is. But it did make an impact. I think it helped that winning percentage even up a bit.
Yeah, so if you look at their data and if you factor in that the one initiative opponent didn't have bunker and lost, it bumped it up to a 65% win rate. So at best, singling out this potentially small sampling of data, Brock's Bunker only helped 10% of the time. So you're telling me a $70 game element gives you a 10% advantage? Maybe. So,
and you can also run through their list in the field. The percentage of people is 50% of the field and top 16 had Major Brock's Bunker. That's not the case for the field. The field, there was like 5, 6, 7, 8, like 10 out of the other 50-something players, like probably only a fifth of the field had Major Brock's Bunker, whereas half of the field had it in top 16. So, and it most likely played
6 of 8 had it in the top 8.
Yeah, that's why I was checking. They have top 16. I'm assuming these are in order.
So after 8, it's not in order.
Okay, but through Jalen, it's in order because that's what it is on HC units. So.
Yeah, Alex Mader and Alec Musser were the only 2 in the top 8 that did not have Major Brock's Bunker.
Right. So, but you're also looking at Isaac, me, Caleb, Ed, LTVH, and Jalen Major, whose papa is J Major. So you're talking.
One of these guys is the creator of the map.
One of these guys is the creator of the map. But what I'm trying to say is, 6 out of those 8. I mean, this is not to say that Alec and Alex don't participate in the community, but you're talking about like 6 of the top 8 players have a finger on the pulse of the community and also get whatever they want to play their teams. So that's not unsurprising. If there was an LE thingamajigger that they needed for their team, those 6 people probably would have gotten them as well.
Yeah, I don't dispute that fact.
So
gone out to get So to clarify, you mean they would have either won them or taken the steps to go obtain it?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But you're saying get them, so it sounds like these top 6 people, they just got it, like because it's these people, right? It sounded a little like what you're trying to say is
in obtaining the map.
Yeah, basically what it boils down to is, maps tend to be one of the last things you think about on a team, right? You're filling out your 300 points, and you're like, okay, what map should I put with this team? And sometimes that leads to, oh, this map looks fine. Oh, yeah, this map looks good. And I think you can see from the Nationals results, players realize, hey, Major Brock's Bunker is a very good map for certain teams or for certain matchups. So let's go out and get it, and let's have it on our team.
So let's be clear, Alex. I understand that. Hold on, real quick. I understand that you say that maps are one of the last thing that people need to look at for their team. I'll just go ahead and say it again. Like we've said for years on the Clixed Off podcast, y'all have got to get these maps. Like, let's just take a look at Morlock Tunnels. Morlock Tunnels was the X of Swords OP release day map. It was harder than shit to get, really, 2 years later. And you've got to get these things soon, quickly. Like, maps are very, in general, even a win a map being $70, these things are not that expensive to collect if you're going to play competitively. All of the new paper maps, and then any of the new neoprene maps, you should be looking to get into your collection. Because things shift in the meta, and older maps become relevant. Newer maps are playable immediately. Y'all have got to have these maps. Y'all have got to be thinking about maps immediately when it comes to your HeroClix competitive builds.
And practice with set maps. It's one thing to have Major Brock's Bunker. It's another to consistently lay your team out, know exactly how it could work out on any side that your opponent chooses, since they can choose any of the 4 sides. You gotta practice all of that. And if you are in a situation, to be fair, that you can't, you're not in a place that, maybe you're in a place that doesn't have HeroClix, right? You can't get a win-a-map. out to where you're located. That's perfectly fine. We're not trying to say Major Brock's Bunker is the be-all, end-all, and that's the map you have to have. What we're trying to say is the people who got Major Brock's Bunker and, got top 8, top 16, whatever, they realized how good of the map it was and practiced and had their team on the map. So if you want to get the Daily Bugle and that you can get your team to work on that better, that's perfectly fine. It's probably cheaper. Like, there's other options. Don't feel like you have to get it. If you're able to get it, absolutely you should pick it up. It's a great map. But it's about understanding your team, putting your team on the map, and knowing how your team would work in any of the 4 sides. Because you could be throwing a loop going on Major Brock's Bunker, and next thing you know, you're going sideways for some reason on that map.
Yep, you got it. So what else do we think about in the data that we saw?
I think what we see in the data is a great segue into our watch list.
Right. So
looking at that prime attackers column they have in column B, whole lot of K's in that column.
Yeah. So let's talk about the watch list. So here's what I would say, regardless of the watch list, unless Mern makes it to the watch list, I think you're going to hear it here first. Mern main first, and may not hear it here first. I don't know. You may already know it. Playing Mern main force or butterflying Mern into your team for Worlds is probably a must play.
And not particularly for the reason we thought originally, maybe.
Yeah, it is not for the shooting through the walls. It is the Nighthawk Prime effect within range. I think also having a shield team ability to expand that 4 range up to 7, whether that's with a Hawkeye and Hawkeye, whether that's with any other, like Iron Inquisitor. I think Mern is a must play for Worlds. At this point, right, like obviously I don't know what happens out of the watch list, but my feeling today as of Wednesday at 10:18 p.m. is Mern has to be on my Worlds team next month.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, unless he gets hit.
Unless he gets hit, right? And that to me is no ifs, ands, or buts. It's a butterfly or main force Mern. Stat clicks have gotten out of control again. I mean, and that's fine. We like our big monkey go smash. We get that.
I mean, think about how popular at Adepticon. There's a lot of Jennifer Kales running around, and Mern is better, way better than Jennifer Kale because he affects all combat values.
Correct.
Where hers are just when they were attacking
and
whatnot, right?
And Mern is like more than 3 clicks.
Yeah, but she saw a lot of play. That like there was quite a few teams that had her. Mm-hmm. Just think about that, and she was super frail.
She didn't do that great.
Yeah, Mern way better and only like 20 points more. Technically 30 if you're playing butterfly, but
yeah, he's bringing a leadership. Like,
I
mean, pretty solid piece.
I think once we know the impact of the watch list, right, we'll talk about Mern a little bit more going into Worlds. But if you do not have the, what is it? Is it Project Butterfly, right? It's not the other one.
Mm-hmm. Project Butterfly.
Yeah, the other
not
one
the
is
Wings of Eagle.
Not the Wings of Eagle. Project Butterfly. Order it. Get it. Whether it's your LGS, shop.win. or shop.wizkids.com, whatever.
There was only one Mern in the top 8 at Gencon, oddly enough.
No, there was 2. At least.
I'm not seeing it, I guess.
Lucas had it on his butterfly.
Oh, there it is. Okay.
And Isaac
Isaac had it on his main force.
Isaac was playing at main force. I mean, like, I saw somebody commenting, The only reason we aren't talking about Colossus is Lucas crit missed 3 times versus Dan. Yeah, maybe so. And, big props to Lucas. But, it is a dice game. Shit happens. Shit happens to me in shit happened to me in top 4. But yeah. Mern is a big deal. Mern hampered my team a whole lot. I needed to roll 8s coming in on Lucas's team, and I only rolled 7s 4 times in a row. Mern is a big deal.
Some other figures, just to have mentioned while we're talking about figures to have. What's interesting? Out of the 16 teams, I think only 3 teams did not have a Chthon. I'm looking through, I'm pretty sure 13 out of the 16 top 16 had a Chthon on their team.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't get talked about. It's just he's an auto ad for a lot of teams, but Chthon is on almost every team.
Yep.
And that's a figure that, like we said, no one talks about. It's just, add him, +1 stats, take a damage. And with Porter,
he was on 7 of the top 8.
Yeah. It was.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty crazy how many Chthons there are. There's not as many Khonshu's as because obviously that's kind of a more expensive piece and does cost money.
Free.
Does cost, it's not free if you don't have Herald. So that's the only person who didn't have Chthon was Lucas.
Mm-hmm.
Because it didn't really make sense on any of his pieces. So
yep, that's right. So next Friday, we get the results of a watch list that has no figures listed on it to tantalize us or tempt us.
Well, what's funny is I think Paul Cote mentioned this or something on a comment. They never had to ever do a watch list and give us a warning anyway. I don't know if anyone would have cared. They could have just said, hey guys, here's the results for the watch list. Instead, sometimes I feel like ultimately we get more disappointed because we'd get think of all the watch lists we got. Here's all the characters we're looking at. All right, we're not doing anything with any of them except this one random one piece.
Yeah,
Scarab made it through famously untouched.
Yeah, we get hyped.
Voodoo, I think at one time.
And we're like, all right, it's going. Oh no, they decided it's fine. Okay, cool. Thanks for that week of wasteful time, or 2 weeks.
We should do a live stream on Friday to give over. That'd be fun.
We totally can. So, all right, let's just speculate wildly.
Yes, everyone's favorite thing to do.
But very shortly, because we've got questions to answer, and we've been rocking and rolling here for a little while. What's going to be on the watch list?
A Mutt's Tomb, Blackheart, Kong, Ivy.
You can't steal all of the answers, Jason.
Those are just the given ones, right?
So let's start with the first one he mentioned. A Mutt's Tomb.
Yeah.
You think it's just gone? They're just like, peace. It's a card. No one cares. See you later. Because we talked about this in our group chat. WizKids has never banned anything from Modern. Outright banned it. They've just rotted it into the ground to where it's garbage.
Yeah, maybe it's it's a once per turn activation or something.
Because the problem is, well, I don't know if they could do that. Well, I guess you're talking about the actual
getting the clue token, right?
No, you can't. You can't change that because that inherently changes how all mystery cards work. You would have to change the evidence, case closed. So once per turn, when a friendly character KOs an opposing character, score 10 points. Or once per turn, when they deal damage to opposing character occupying or adjacent to debris marker, increase the damage up by 1. You could do it that way. They
I don't think they could do it either way if they wanted to.
True. I would think they wouldn't touch how clue tokens are gained, I guess, but I guess they could. For this one, at least.
They can do anything they want.
Fair.
Whether they will, that's a different story. Yeah.
What do you think, Dan?
I think we're going to see I think we're going to see the bans for the first time.
I think they should just ban Blackheart and the Mutt's Tomb. End of story.
The tricky thing with the Mutt's Tomb is it came out in 2023, so it is not up for rotation purposes because it is an LE. It didn't come in a set, it came in an OP kit. So it would technically most likely get another year. Like that kit with the Moon Knight and whatnot would get another year.
Easily. Maybe even 2.
Yeah.
Because an LE, yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah, because they don't care with LEs. They're just like, oh, yeah, we forgot about that.
I guess you could just make it work for detectives only.
Remove Mystical?
Ooh. Yeah, remove Mystical. Yeah.
Yeah, so the problem is that, like, it is super easily abusable by detectives, too.
I know, that's true.
I mean, like, let's not forget the close combat Shagginator, right? Like, dudes making 2, 3, 4 attacks a turn.
Well, that's why I say they don't need to have clue tokens added more than, once or whatever per turn.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's pretty crazy, especially if you play Shaggy at 60. He's pretty nuts.
And Hawkeye's making a lot of attacks, too.
Yeah. I mean, you're talking about trick arrows and quaking, making debris. Like,
well, there's another thing. Trick arrows.
Yeah. Oddly enough, big surprise though, we did not see as many trick arrows as you would have thought in top 8.
No?
I think, let's see, in top 8, Isaac didn't, Alex did, Daniel did,
Alex Mater did.
Mater did, Caleb did.
Caleb did.
So half of them?
Ed had it.
Yeah, I was counting Ed.
No, Lucas.
Yeah, so maybe quite a few people did. Yeah, quite a few people did then. Never mind, I was wrong.
I could see them doing something with trick arrows because they might need to nip this in the bud because we're getting more and more and more and more trick arrows.
Maybe you should only be able to activate one per turn.
I don't think they touch trick arrows because they're coming out in Masters of Time. They're coming out in the Cupid set that we just talked about. They're not, and this might be selfish of them, maybe, but I don't think they get changed because they don't want to affect future sales of products.
That's a good consideration.
Now, keep in mind, Wizkids has to make money for us to keep playing the game.
Yeah, but no one's buying Masters of Time for trick arrows. Like, Masters of Time is super crazy good. The only thing it might affect is Deadpool and Cable, and those, it's Deadpool, so it sells like hotcakes anyway. So I could see them somehow changing how trick arrows work fundamentally. They could easily do you can only have one of each trick arrow. You can't do any more of the doubling up shenanigans. Like, something minor. Because once we get more trick arrows, that won't matter, right? You're not really looking to play 3 too dangerous trick arrows or whatever. You have
a
smorgasbord of trick arrows to choose from. So I could see them making like a minor change to be like, yeah, you're limited to one individual trick arrow. You can't. They're like unique or something. I could definitely see that. One note I want to mention with Amut's Tomb. Don't forget, Amut's Tomb did already get an errata last year or something like that. Remember, because there was something. Was it with the Hulk thing, or was that something different? It wasn't.
Yeah,
Hulk.
I mean, they were you were able to just max out Amut's Tomb immediately by just breaking through blocking.
Mm-hmm. So it could see getting changed a second time. It might just get banned. I feel like when things have to get changed a second or third time, that's like, nope, we tried, just not working. Sorry.
Yeah.
See ya.
Now, I would like to point out, too, that, like, a Mutt's Tomb is so close. Like, anything gets errated too much, it's just unplayable. So let's talk about our favorite velvety monkey, Kong.
Ultra human. Yeah. Kong.
Yeah.
Gorilla Grodd.
Gorilla. Good answers, right? Man Ape. There you go.
Yeah, man.
Donkey Kong.
We haven't got a Donkey Kong Clix yet, so. I think if anything changes to Kong, there's two options. It doesn't matter, doesn't affect him, or it's golly, I lost my train of thought. Either it doesn't affect him or it makes him unplayable.
Yeah.
So let me throw this out there because some people might be thinking this. Is the current issue with Kong a Kong problem or a Blackheart problem?
Blackheart definitely fuels the fire.
Because Kong on his own, there's not a lot of ways to move Colossals outside of Blackheart. Like just being able to, I move you 6 squares. Like there's not, because you can't TK, there's not a lot, there's no spin rings or anything like that. There might be 1 or 2 characters that could do it, but no one ever plays them. So really a Timebreaker would be another example. Timebreakers and Blackheart. Is it that enabling that makes Kong just so crazy? Because he is in your face turn 2 at both of them if you're playing 2.
He has a lot of things going for him. The combination of his colossal size plus super strength plus Quake is what lets him just mow through things. But Blackheart enables him to get there to do that.
Jason is correct. But I think that like Timebreaker Pog exists, and like you're just not abolishing everything, right? Like you're not gonna errata Trick Era, or you're not gonna errata Blackheart, Timebreakers, Kong. I don't know what all these other figures we mentioned too. And like other thing you have to keep in mind too is like something's always going to be good.
Yes, something's always going to be good.
And I tell you what, I will reiterate this at this part of the episode in regards to the small map change. I tell you what, regardless of whether or not I won the game or lost the game, whether it was on Brock's Bunker or Blitzkrieg Manhattan, shit happened. Engagement happened. I had fun on short maps.
Yeah, there was no turtling.
There was no bullshitting. You got in there. You got it done. You made it happen. And, like, in that case, right, like, if you errata this, errata that, do this, do that, ban this, ban that, something's still going to be good. Small maps make all kinds of shit good.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, it just is what it is. Like, to me...
I mean, it was Ivy a month ago, and it's not Ivy anymore.
That's because they got rid of that was a non-interactive team. We get to have...
There was a bunch of squishy shit that was out there, and they took advantage of it.
With the big maps.
With the big maps.
Now we don't have big maps. Now it's all just rocking.
And then we have a bunch of stuff that's not squishy.
That's right. A bunch of non-squishy stuff on a small map. And it's a lot of fun.
Okay, so tell me this. Talking about those 3, we can lump in Timebreakers with Blackheart. Let's just call them one unit. Between Kong and Blackheart, since they're on the same team most of the time, what would each of you prefer if there was a watch list and a change? What are you guys like, okay, that's fine. That's enough. Still super playable. Like, what would you like to see come out of this?
I think Blackheart just needs to be gone.
Say that again. You were
I think Blackheart just needs to go.
needs to go, like just be banned.
Yeah, like it didn't pull. I don't think making it a power action makes any difference. I don't think shortening his range of some makes any difference.
I think it, in my opinion, it's interesting. Isn't it interesting? Like the closest figure to get banned, which was banned in Rock, was Faust because he did crazy shenanigans.
Right.
All Blackheart is doing is moving and taking two people with him, and they can then act. Like from a fundamental standpoint, that's all he's doing.
Right, but it can be a half map double TK basically.
Sure. I'm
Which
not
is
saying
insane.
I'm not saying that's like. I'm just looking at it from a high level of like that's crazy how overpowered that is. It is.
My only thought was like maybe you only make that available at 100 points for his 100-point dial. But maybe that's not even enough of a deterrent. I don't know.
So my suggestion for Blackheart is one, the fact that his ability is based off of his range means it's infinitely better. Not infinitely, but it's sizably better than TK. So if you pare that down to just 4, okay, and then they only need to stick probably one word on there to make him still good but not overpowered, and that's probably 2 adjacent standard or 2 adjacent friendly standard characters.
Okay, so if you did standard, that definitely prevents the Kong thing. I mean,
Still allows you to activate for other monsters in Mystical. Wong can still be taken out. You can still do like some Ghost Rider. Well, yeah, they're standard technically.
4 range is still plenty to get Kong across the map, though.
Sure, but you add in standard.
Yeah,
he can't be taken at all.
Yeah,
but you can still take. You can still take your Ghost Riders. You can still take your other monsters and Mysticals. But that doesn't mean Blackheart's garbage. It's just he's now funneled into a more niche role. He just doesn't have that wombo combo with Kongs and everyone else that follows along.
I probably like that the best of anything I've heard.
Because ultimately, it's like Kong's the... Blackheart's also... Let's not forget, Blackheart got banned in Pulp. Because... for the simple reasons. So, like, fixing this the way I mentioned doesn't solve his problems with Pulp. Because there's no Colossals in Pulp that I'm aware of. Or no. Multi-base.
Yeah, you're right.
2x2. So, it doesn't fix the Pulp issue. But I think that might be enough for Modern. I might be wrong. I just don't know if Wizkids would go to the point of banning, since they've never done it before, to just be like, we banned this in Pulp, we're going to ban it in Modern. It's like, they could. I could see them just trying to fix it to still make it playable, because it's still a cool piece that does something unique. And you can still keep them good, just limit it to the range that every other TK thing is 4, and just say standard. And he could still wheel 2 people out there for free, still doing stuff, and you don't have 2 giant monkeys that's quaking everybody for 3 damage or 2 damage or whatever on turn 2 because you lost initiative. And if you did that, I might even consider, like, you don't even have to touch Kong.
Yeah. I think if they do anything to Kong, like, I don't know what they... Like, they take away his pin damage, reduce him, dead.
Because I think Kong is a very good close combat piece. We have some pieces that enable him to be almost too mobile for what he should be capable of doing. He's not like jumping across the map on his own. He is being carried by Blackheart or taken by the Timebreakers. So just put a max number on the Timebreakers. When you could just say max of 4, max of 5, whatever.
If anything, I'd rather him see like take away his ability to act twice in a turn.
Yeah, I think as I think mentioned in our group chat, taking that away on his 50-point dial.
Yeah.
kind of like a Goblin King style. Okay, he's lesser points. He shouldn't have willpower. Right? Like,
Yeah.
very similar concept. 50 points. That's when he's able to take 2 costed actions. I like that too. Like that, I would be fine if that was the only change. And then
Dan,
What now?
you're awful quiet.
I don't know. I'm just listening.
That's unusual for you.
It is. I don't know. I don't know.
I don't want to see. I don't want to see Kong unplayable. I don't want to see Blackheart unplayable. I want to see them still being played. But I want the game to be in a condition to where if I don't win initiative and I don't want to feel forced to go to one of these closed maps, I'm not going to instantly lose the game. And I know there's a lot of Alpha Strike teams that can still do very similar things to Kong. I get that. Kong is one of the few ones that on his own can get through barrier, most barrier. Like most of the things you can block yourself in on, he could just do it by himself. There's not a lot of pieces that could do that.
Yeah.
Like for other alpha teams, you have to commit a lot more to the alpha, where Kong, it's like, I'm just throwing a monkey at you. The rest of my team's coming. But the monkey is going to decimate your team on his own.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I like the monkey, right? Is that monkey makes barrier not have to be played. And as a reminder, Dan doesn't want to play barrier. Dan plays barrier when he has to play barrier.
I'd much rather have Kong than barrier.
Yeah, I'd much rather just quake through all the barrier and get an attack in than just go blah, 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 blah. You know, you have to do all this other bullshit to just defend yourself. Just have big strong monkey take care of business.
Yeah, that's why I don't think they necessarily need to touch any of his defensive capabilities, anything like that. Like, he's a big, giant gorilla. Like, he should be, or giant ape. So he should be able to take the hits, keep the reduced penetrating, keep the impervious, keep that one stop click, whatever. Keep all that. It's enabling him to get almost half the map for free, and then he runs over there is, I feel like, the bigger problem. Mm-hmm. Make it where, like, okay, I have to commit to moving him up a bit, and you get to take a shot at him for one turn, and, you know, that one you have to make multiple shots to take him down. Okay, you have to commit now to my 50-point piece to taking him out.
Yeah.
While I move up. Like, there's a lot of strategic things you can do with that I think still makes Kong very viable. It's just you don't have to rely on the instant, boop, bamf, there's a Kong in the middle of the field now. And now he's charging and hitting everybody.
Mm-hmm.
So I hope they minimally touch Kong. I hope they touch Timebreaker and Blackheart a little bit. Don't ban them. No need to ban them. Take it back, remove the interaction with Kong, and still allow them to work with other pieces that, you know, we haven't necessarily seen played with them because Kong is just too crazy with them. That's just my opinion.
Yep. All right, well, let's get through some questions.
Well, real quick, is there any... We said Trick Arrow, we said Kong, we said Blackheart, Ivies. I assume we're talking just once per turn as opposed to everyone.
Yeah.
What you mentioned it. What about Mern? Does Mern actually need to go on the watch list?
I don't think so. Maybe his printed range would be fine. That would probably dial him back enough. Because I think that, like, if they turn Kong... My only problem is that if they turn Kong into unplayability, that Ivy's just become the piece to play. Because nothing else is going to be able to reach them as well.
I worry not just Ivies, but long-range pieces. Hawkeye and Hawkeye come back. Other big range. Because we haven't really seen the meta of, here's Mern getting through... Like, you know, Jason, you mentioned, Mern is now the bigger piece because of his second trait. Mm-hmm. We all thought the first trait was going to be the big deal. Mm-hmm. And that didn't get to really shine because Ivies came out and decimated long-range teams, and then Kong is equally making long-range teams not that great. So if we cut back the mobility with Blackhearts, long range is going to be better, which is fine, but not with Mern. Not being able to say, oh yeah, Hawkeye's going to chill over here with a whatever range, 10 range or something, and you have no way to block his attacks unless you play characters without these keywords. So I think a preventative move for Mern, the only thing I think they need to do is like take that blocking part and just tie that to his range. Like it just has to be within range.
Mm-hmm.
And that would help with long range. That means you could still do your actions with Hawkeye. Mern just has to be out there and a little bit more exposed. And he could take a hit. I mean, he's not super weak like Jennifer Kale. So it's still playable, but not making long range now too oppressive.
Right.
Which is a concern.
Okay, questions.
All right, questions. Let's see here. Tyler Loffman. We talked about.
We just talked about that.
We just talked about all that. Joseph Alger. Top 3 MOT figures for metagame play post Worlds. I think the big thing for me at this point is we don't have to talk about it yet.
Unfortunately,
I would really love to talk about it, but honestly, we're gonna do a set review and all this other stuff before Worlds and get all of that done. But honestly, at this point, we can kind of wait till after Worlds.
Oh, we should give him a little something.
Well, what kind of little something you want to give him, Jason?
I mean, we should, at least give him like one figure each, right?
Per Decaton.
Prime Blue Beetle.
Going into Worlds, I was actually considered playing Legacy Starro.
There you go.
Done.
Easy,
breezy, beautiful.
Because we were all building for this, and our hopes got let out a little bit today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Ed. Oh, so sorry. Dionisio, do you think the watch list will be in effect before Canadian and Mexican nationals? I think Wizkids will help you take care of that with your event organizers. I would not have a lot of concern about what.
Yeah, I think they'll be okay.
Yeah, you can either probably the option will probably be just do what you've already been doing or take on the new stuff. Doesn't matter. I don't know.
Yeah, looking at the dates, if those dates are what you're saying, it would make more sense if the Canadian Nationals didn't, because it would suck preparing a team, and then the next day those figures you practice are just gone.
Yeah,
especially if they're just banned. But for Mexican Nationals, the week after, yeah, it should be enforced. You got a week to adjust.
Yeah,
that's fine. A day might be a little too much because you might be traveling, right? You might be on a plane Friday traveling. And they're like, hey, those Kongs you just packed, you shouldn't have packed them, buddy.
Exactly.
So
Ed AB, we just kind of talked about all of that. And then Keith Barnett, will the new Jurassic League have meta potential? I don't know. We'll talk about it here in a little while.
To be determined.
Denny, is it time to ban Kong? I don't think so.
No.
A nice little adjustment to Kong, along with an adjustment to your IVs, I think will be pretty darn close to being right.
We don't need to see bans in Modern. Just make some adjustments. If something's worse enough to be banned, I think you could just try to adjust it, even if it turns into a terrible figure. Mm-hmm. Well, that one person who really loved that Mogo, if Mogo comes out and is terrible, and they, great, they errata him down, well, that person can still play him, and still be that hard-headed person to still play that figure. But I'd rather have that option than, I never get to play this figure anymore.
That's right. I agree with that. Brandon Bruner, he just, I think for his main point of this year is he wanted to shout out Alex and Jason for an awesome BR at HeroClix for Huntington's.
We did have a lot of fun with that. I remember, Brandon. Yeah, good times.
Good job.
And you got to see BR Shark Jason. So I
don't
tell you
think I
guys,
did super hot in that one. I don't think.
We all know about BR Shark Jason. It's a big deal.
Yeah, Jason turns it on for BRs in a special way. It's impressive. Like, it's just it's like you see those TikToks or something of like the chess players who play out in like they're not hustlers, right? But they're like really good players because they play out in the city or whatever. That's how I feel like with Jason. You sit down at the table and you're like, oh yeah, it's Jason Alvey. Yeah, it's gonna be great. And then it's like mode on, BR mode, no holds barred, ruthless. I don't care. I'm here. This is a battle royale, baby.
Jason obviously does not play to where you don't have an enjoyable experience against him.
For sure.
He's just very strategic when it comes to his BRs. So
it's fun. I enjoy it. Unless I
talk a lot of smack. Like,
Mark Pogsway, with this year coming to a close, how do you feel about the communication from Wizkids this year? It's gotten way better.
way better.
Yep. Agreed.
Yeah.
So Josiah asked, do you think we will see any new teams outside of what we saw at Gencon perform well at Worlds? I think everybody played really safe for Gencon. And I think we'll see at Worlds. I think we'll see way more diversity in the fields depending on this watch list results. I think you'll see a lot more Ivies than we saw at Gencon. And then I think that's the biggest thing for me.
Yeah, I mean, the watch list is going to force it to be different.
Yeah, for sure. Not unexpectedly.
I hope we see a lot of new stuff.
Yeah.
And, you know, there might be something to the format of Gen Con. Like you said, playing it safe. People aren't necessarily as willing to, you know, you got to protect your points and score more points. So less of the, what's the term? Teams that just kind of survive. Don't die teams. You know, there's certain teams that, like, for the format of, oh, I'm only going to get 3 or 4 rounds. I got to score a lot of points.
Mm-hmm.
You know, some people may have changed things up to be safer in those, as opposed to taking a bigger shot to be a dark horse. So
it's a good point.
Joe Clark, will Kong become unique? Will a Mutt's tomb be changed? What can KO double Kong?
3 Kongs.
Yeah.
Did you say dice?
I said dice.
Nice, yeah, that's true.
That's probably accurate. So, Joe, we just talked about all that. What can KO double Kong? A ton of precision strike is what you need to KO Kong. Okay. Richard Medina, is Brock Bunkers the new King's Tomb? Yes. Yes, it is.
Mm-hmm.
We would have also accepted Ancient Hold.
Which one was Ancient Hold?
That was the
one
one
that had
with
all the
doors.
doors.
Yeah.
Oh, was that the? Was that
you remember it?
Yeah, was Ancient Hold was the one that that Lucas used all the time with the Tri-Sentinels, right?
Probably.
That was the.
It was one that also was like limited release. It was a rock map, and so it was one where it was so oppressive because of the way doors worked.
Oh yeah, that one. Yeah, that one was
because you couldn't, line of fire didn't work, but you could move through, so you could just stand behind a door, and it was an incredibly oppressive map for a while, and everyone played it, or certain people played it. So it was. I don't think Brock's bunker is not to that level, so I probably shouldn't have said it that way. It's not that oppressive at all.
I agree,
but
because I would like to answer Ben Gronheit's question: how oppressive is Brock's bunker to play on? I don't think so at all. I think it's a relatively smoother map to traverse because it's smaller.
Yeah.
It is hard to look at it, and sometimes you're going to miss some of the walls. I feel like, but yeah.
It's interesting because we went through a period where I'm glad it's a unique style map that does something unique, and there's no symmetry, none of that nonsense. It's a map where, hey, there might be an advantage to all four sides. There might be a reason you turn it sideways and have everyone on the same elevation. I don't know. It's one of those where, I'm glad it exists because we needed more small maps, period. And it's not a symmetrical map that there's no benefit to choosing one side or the other.
Yep. I agree. So LTVH asks, if you had to ban one element from your team for Nats, or that you would have played at Nats, what would it be and why? We already talked about the erratas. What would you ban from your team, Jason?
Oh, that broken ass Scott Porter.
Alex, so are you banning a Prime Spider-Man or Wong?
I would actually ban trick arrows.
Oh, okay.
Just a random trick arrows are a little too funky. I feel like they need some tuning.
Yeah.
Either take them away from close actions or something. I don't know. Something weird.
Yeah, I agree. Ban.
Put the tune in there.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I'd have to go with trick arrows too, if I'm going to ban them. Matt Tressler, we did answer the meta at Worlds without MOT, but we don't.
We won't know until.
But we don't know. Yeah, we don't know for 100%. And then post Worlds, we'll talk about post Worlds when post Worlds gets here.
Post Worlds won't matter for 6 months.
Yeah,
Matt. One thing to say is that there is the realm of possibility. What do we think the meta will look like at Worlds now that MOT won't be at Worlds? It could look the exact same because there is a small % chance in the multiverse that they come back and say, you know what? We looked at all the figures. We just said everything was cool, Gencon. We're not banning anything. And then they randomly put some random ass figure on there.
Yeah, whatever Jason Alvey's thinking about playing.
Right. And after Worlds, it won't. Who knows? There'll be 2 sets out past Masters of Time before we get to play anything that matters. So.
Yeah, because States will be silver, and then Champion.
Unfortunately,
unfortunately, given the timing of the year, Champion Click Open doesn't happen until March now, and Adepticon's not till March, so it's possible from middle of September to middle of March we do not have a 300 Modern tournament that's impactful.
We won't, unless where are we going to get one?
I mean, unless States does something, or unless Wizkids comes up with something else, there's not going to be anything.
Hell, we might have 3 sets out after Masters of Time before one happens.
Possibly.
Spider-Verse might make it out, which is that's total bullshit. That we get 3 or 4 sets out with nothing to fucking use them in for Modern. Total bullshit.
Yeah.
I just had a random thought. You know what would be the funniest watch list is if they came out, didn't change anything, and just said, "Hey, we just realized Daredevil has the wrong keywords. So we're going to switch it back to these useless keywords."
Oh fuck!
Just yep, that's it. That's the change that was needed.
You didn't need to put that out in the world.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did.
Daredevil's not an Asgardian.
Leave him alone. Leave him alone.
Oh my gosh! So Clark Gantham, or Aziel asked, as a content creator yourselves, thanks. What would you like to see from content creators in charge of broadcasting Worlds 2024? I'd like to thank both of you guys for realizing that you can live stream games with your phones at Gencon. Live streaming was the biggest thing that these events were missing, and y'all realized you could do it from your phones. Thank you.
And those mics were cool.
Yeah, I'm going to have to pick up those mics myself. So, I think the only thing that would be cool at Worlds would be the commentators.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Do they have on-screen graphics, like showing the score and whatnot? I haven't seen the stream, so
they don't. They were just streaming from their phone.
Okay,
They
well, I guess
took,
they have, but they have a chance to like maybe do a little better, like have a setup at Worlds, maybe that they could have like, scores posted. That would be cool.
I think they took care of like 98% of the issue by just being able to live stream.
Yeah.
So
that's
like
great. Yeah.
that extra 2% would be commentators. That's 99%. 1% more would be on-screen graphics.
Yeah.
Which totally obvious depends 100% on the internet at Memphis, which is we know the signal there and whatnot has been historically terrible, hence why they've done the things that they've done. But it's very, very easy to add graphics and do all of that stuff, especially if it's a delayed type service.
Well, if it's like full-on sports presentation with the commentators and that stuff, that would be freaking cool.
I mean, look at most Twitch streams and how crazy they can get now with just they can put out live with just somebody in their house. So they can absolutely do it. It's really just the live aspect is 100% going to be determined by the internet.
Yeah.
Well,
so
even if
maybe
it was like delayed, that'd be great.
Get these guys one of those mobile hotspots. Wizkids, get a Verizon hotspot or whatever you need to do to get them better internet so they don't have to do a delay. They can just live stream.
Yep. All right. So, how do you feel about Wizkids keeping the post nationals watch list secret from Clark Grantham? I think it's fine.
They never need to tell us who's going to be on the list. Just give us a list of what's changed.
Yep.
They don't do that for erratas. They're not like, hey, heads up, next week we're errataing all these characters.
And then, Anthony, I certainly appreciate your length of question. I think at this point I want to say thank you, Scott D, for all you've done. Would you ever record a podcast on site at an event? We have. As we've done it in the past.
We talk about it every year and then forget about it when we get there.
No, we've done it before.
No, we have. I just mean like, there's been a few events recently where like, man, we're all here. I wish we brought mics and stuff so we can just talk in person. And so maybe I'll make a note for Worlds. See if we can do it again.
Yeah. All right, I'm going to go ahead and move to Peter's question because we're coming up on 2 hours. So,
he's got a bunch of questions too.
He does. I tell you what, I'm going to save some of these questions for maybe Isaac and I to talk about over the weekend, or Isaac and us to talk about.
And Anthony, if you're listening and we don't get to your question, we'll try to reach out and like add comments to like your comment on the post.
Yeah.
I think that'd be good too, just so he doesn't feel like we didn't answer his questions. He does have some really good questions out there for some of the questions for like
to be fair, other shows just don't even acknowledge like the people ask the questions, they don't want to answer them or run out of time to answer them. So we are acknowledging it. We will answer it later.
One thing I do want to say on one of his questions: are any pre-Worlds rulings needed? We need some Mern on Mern rulings.
Yeah, I mean Anthony's aware. I made Anthony aware. I mean a lot of people.
I know, but for those that aren't aware, the question was brought up: what happens when a Mern with like perplexed range gets in range of another Mern, how does that work when they like cancel each other out and cancel the stats? I thought that was a really cool question that didn't have a very obvious answer. So I'm mostly more intrigued on what the answer would be for that. I would assume it'd be active player, but it's whatever.
Yep. All right. Alec Musser's question: favorite savory dish. That's how we're ending our show today.
Savory. So do
Like
we
a
need
salty, spicy type something.
that is salt or spicy rather than sweet.
Yeah, I would say like it's going to be hard to top the good old steak and tater.
Country ham is real good. Also, but steak and taters is pretty damn cool.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the steak and taters. Jason has country ham. Alex?
I just Googled savory foods because in my head, my brain is not thinking of what are some salty, spicy foods. There's some really good like ramen, chicken ramen type stuff that I like because it's got a little bit of spice to it, and it's obviously ramen's very salty. So like a very good restaurant made ramen dish, that's really, really good. I don't mean the cheap ramen that you made in college.
I've never had like ramen that wasn't the 10-cent package type. So that
it's good.
That sounds really good.
I've upped my ramen game even at home because it's low key a really good. It's something that's pretty easy to just make better at home, but it's even better in a restaurant.
That sounds good. I should try it sometime.
Yeah, Jason, we can go to a ramen place.
We apparently have one in Owensboro now. Did you know that?
We do. We can totally.
We should try that.
I agree. All right, final thoughts, Alex.
I am super eager to build for Worlds. If you need something to work on while waiting for the watch list, don't forget there's Pulp. And I think they're probably done doing any watch lists for Pulp. So you could probably go ahead and start building a Pulp team, which is what I'm going to be doing this week.
All right, Jason?
I'm kind of sad Masters of Time is not going to be legal because Masters of Time is really awesome set.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I was going to say, you go ahead. I was interrupting you.
I was just going to say, I'm also glad we got a watch list because we're not going to have Masters of Time. So, good calls.
Yeah.
Overall.
I agree. I think my final thoughts are enjoy the week off, pulp it up for a little bit, and be ready to hit it next weekend hard. Thanks, everybody, for listening to Clixed Off today. We'll talk to y'all next time.
Later.